Testing one, two, three. Hi everyone, welcome to another session of G TV News Scope. Today we are going to be talking about the. Sometimes you need to actually talk about some of the decisions actually taken by politicians in regards to terrorism in Nigeria. And along the way, when you listen to what some of these politicians said about, say, 5 years ago, and what they're actually saying now, you'll be amazed about some of the things, um, the contracts between what they were saying back then and what they're saying now. Now, one of this story has to do with a former governor of Cardinal State. That's El Rufai. Now, the former governor basically was one of those earlier on um, actually supported the idea of paying the terrorists, so to speak, Boko Haram and some of the others that we've got. And then he was actually arguing that there wasn't any issue, that it's okay to actually pay these people. And now he he's actually trying to give a different narrative entirely. And a lot of people are not having it. So this is what was said at that time. He said we actually offered to pay bandits, um, saying that they were actually doing that so that they can actually, you know, get the victims off. On the face of it, it seems plausible that, yeah, that was what they were trying to do. But at the same time, when you look at it, with security advice that were being given, it just doesn't make sense. So the storyline actually says, let me put this one up. So he said former Kaduna State Governor Nasra El Rufai is once again at the center of controversy as past remarks about paying Fulani groups to curb violence in southern Kaduna have resurfaced, just as he now criticizes the federal government for allegedly funding bandits. You see that? So what he was saying then, and when you look at what he's saying now, you could see the contradictions. A recent TV interview ignited debate about his past policies and his sharp criticism of the current administration's security strategy. During his tenure, El Rufai openly admitted that his government facilitated compensation to some Fulani groups to halt reprisal after the 2011 post-election crisis. I think this is the man that said they actually brought people down to Nigeria because they were thinking that Jonathan was not going to leave. During his tenure, El Rufai openly admitted his government facilitated compensation. Now, you have to actually remember that none of this was actually transparent. And I don't think there was any debate that was had in their House of Representative, in the State House of Rep in Kaduna at that time, that signed up to this. However, an empowered newswire review of archived interviews shows how firmly he once stood by this payment, portraying them as conflict resolution rather than incentive for violence. Exactly, because those guys saw it as free money. Fast forward to 2025, and the tone has changed dramatically. In another channel's TV interview, El Rufai denounced what he described as a federal policy of paying bandits to maintain fragile peace, warning it would worsen insecurity rather than solve it. Hello, can you see what this guy is doing? When he was in power, he was doing exact same thing he has actually criticized, that he's criticizing the current administration of doing. Now, there's no evidence that the federal government is actually paying them, but this is what he is saying. And when you actually look at his previous statements, over the years, is a total turnaround, or should I say, total capitulation. So, I mean, to be quite honest, right? People like this gentleman, I mean, what exactly does it really stand for? Depending on which year or which party is in power or which party he has favors with. Nah. So I think it's someone that should not be taken too seriously. Right. So our next story, yep, is about the Edo State government. The Edo State government forces teachers to cut grass, sparks outrage. There is something about you know, I think I can count myself as a conservative, right? And at the same time, I don't understand why we like to humiliate people and we'll call it I don't know whether we should call it a cultural thing or a traditional thing. I don't think so. Because when you look at it, right, I mean, this story, what is actually saying essentially, it's you know, I don't know what these teachers have actually done, but do they have to take the teachers through, you know, you're forcing teachers to cut grass because of what? Okay, let's get into it. So sometimes I just take it as maybe it's a way to sort of disempowered, the citizens. I mean, in which other way? I mean, you guys tell me. In which other way would you look at this, or how would you actually explain this? I don't get it. So, a rights group, Edo State Civil Society Coalition on Human Rights, has condemned the State Ministry of Education for allegedly compelling teachers in the public schools to cut grass and engage in manual labor. Who does that? 2025. Reports condemned the development in a statement made available to newsmen on Monday, September 1st, 2025, in Benin City. The statement was signed by Marxist scholar Edo Pai and comrades Agatise Raphael, Coordinator General and Secretary General of the group, respectively. The group noted that the teachers were not employed as gardeners, cleaners, and janitors, stressing that teachers must never be forced into degrading labor. The labor threatened to embark on protest and take legal action if the state government fails to stop the development. The group insisted that the action of the government is not only an insult to the teaching profession. I agree, it is an insult, but also a blatant violation of human rights and labor ethics. The group suggested that the government should employ support staff, gardeners, cleaners, janitors, and that must be paid adequately to handle school maintenance. The Edo State Civil Society Coalition for Human Rights is outraged by the disgraceful and demeaning practice of compelling teachers in Edo public schools to cut grass and perform manual labor at the directive of the Ministry of Education. I'm pretty sure that these people who are at the Ministry of Education in Edo State, most of them must have schooled abroad. They can see how things are being done in civilized society. So what usually happens? So once they get back to Nigeria, at the airport they will remove the civilized nature and put in the crude. Ah, teachers are the backbone of society, nation builder, entrusted with shaping the minds of our children. Reducing them to gardeners and cleaner is a shameful act of abuse and a slap in the face of every hardworking educator in Edo State. We state clearly that teachers are not slaves and schools are not forced labor camps. This backward practice belongs to the dark past and must never be tolerated in a state that claims to value education. Very true. Any nation that treats its teachers with contempt is preparing its own burial ground. Forcing teachers into manual labor is not education reform, it's educational slavery. Mhm. It is worth stressing that this practice violates Section 34, 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended with guarantees that no person shall be required to perform forced or compulsory labor. By compelling teachers to engage in work outside their professional mandates under duress, the Edo State Ministry of Education stands in direct breach of this constitutional safeguard. These people there should be taken away. They should just sack them. Simple. Adding ways to our demands, we extract these quotes from the state governor, Monday Okpabolo, where he said, "We will place teachers on top priority And we will reverse the shortage of teachers through continuous recruitment of qualified teachers. Which person in their right mind that has a choice will actually want to go into teaching profession in Edo State when they actually see what they are turning their prospective colleagues into laborers? To work is to pray, but we insisted that the sacred work of teachers is to teach, not to clear bushes. Forcing them to otherwise is against the law and will not be tolerated. An injury to one teacher is an injury to all. Edo State must respect its teacher or face the resistance of its people, the statement said. The group also urged the state government to be accountable by ensuring that funds allocated to school maintenance are used transparently and not shifted as a burden to onto teachers. Reacting, the State Commissioner of Education, Dr. Paddy Yamo, said information at the ministry display suggested that the manual jobs was a voluntary corporate social responsibility CSR from some teachers. The commissioner reaction was contained in a statement titled "To Stakeholders in the Education Ecosystem." Edo Civil Society raises concern over teachers in some school being asked to do manual maintenance job. That may as well be, but I'm pretty sure that most of the teachers too were compelled. I can just imagine. Well, you have some people who are quite strong and decided that look, our school needs to have some things done, clearing the bushes and all that. So they volunteered. But along the line, they now try to actually, force others into it or to guilt trip them one way or the other. But from what we are reading here, it's actually obvious that they were being forced now. Maybe at the beginning it was voluntary, but it doesn't seem like it again now. Yamo disclosed that a full-scale investigation into the issue has been ordered, assuring that the government will get to the root of the matter and correct any abnormality in whatever form. The attention of the Edo State Ministry of Education has been drawn to a publication by civil society group alleging that teachers are being told to cut grass and engage in manual labors to maintain their respective schools on the directives of the Ministry of Education. While stating that the Edo State government remain resolute in upholding the rights and privileges of all, we also encourage our teachers to remain strong and focus on academic excellence, as the future of our country depends on them. Teachers' priority is transfer of learning. So we want to discourage, in very strong terms, teachers forcibly engaging in or being used to engage in tasks that do not directly correlate with strengthening knowledge gap and learning outcomes. We also want to implore the public to be conscious of those who may be trying to smear the name of the ministry due to the current reforms aimed at putting a stop to unwholesome benefits to a few to protect the common man and the children from humble beginning. The Senator Monday or Pablo administration is fully committed to ensuring that every Edo child gets the best in education and every Edo teacher has become proud of being an Edo teacher, has seen in the increment of their minimum wage, regularization of casual teachers to be full staff after 3 years, building of teachers' quarters in some school, training and retraining of teachers, and lots more, the commissioner added. They should get it sorted out. Right. So I think we've got one more. Last but not the least, we've got this story of this one is quite a very, very interesting story. It says man signs out of university along his daughter. So what it is basically is that whoops, what did I do? Right. Basically, a man actually went back to the university and the daughter happens to have gained entrance at that time. So obviously they are graduating at the same time. This is one of the things I think what I can actually get out of this is the fact that in this life it's meant that people will try to. I remember a very good friend of mine went to university and he actually graduated. Um, and he was really upset because somebody said to him, "What does he want to do with it?" And I was really furious that why would somebody demand someone academic achievement? Fine, if it's not your thing, Congratulate them and just say, well done. Doesn't take anything from you. But for someone to sort of, you know, cast some acidic tongues, I'm really proud of this gentleman. So it's an achievement. And guess what? I'm looking at him and he doesn't look, if you see somebody like this outside, you won't know that he has a daughter this age who are just graduated alongside, that they've just graduated alongside together. And this is brilliant. So the man just said it here. He said, it was like a great joke. To God be the glory for the great things He has done in my life and family. I'm privileged to sign out alongside my daughter. We started the journey together 5 years ago. Today, I feel fulfilled that I sponsored myself at a very old age. I don't know, it doesn't look very old. And my daughter in the prestigious University of Cross River State, Unicross. Today, we are signing out. I'm grateful to God Almighty. This just goes to actually show that, look, it doesn't matter. Whatever you put your mind to do, you will achieve it. If you are committed to it, you will actually will come out. You will definitely will accomplish it. So congratulations to this gentleman. Unfortunately, there's no name there. So it's yeah, it's such a beautiful family, and you can see the man looking proudly on. I'm just this man is he is an inspiration to a lot of people who in this life people will tell you that, oh, you are too tall, you are too short, you are too old, you are too young to do anything. So what my advice is that, guys, just ignore them. We only have one life. Do what you think is important. God has put you here for a reason. You don't even know who's watching that needs that sort of inspiration. You've done exactly what you want to do. You have actually, I mean, it's not mean fit to go back to school, and you did it brilliantly. So well done, kudos. So once again, the takeaway from this is what? Believe in your dreams. Go for it. Ignore the naysayers. Because all they want to do is that when you go or you do what you said you want to do, it's an indictment on some people because they don't have the guts, they don't have the liver to be able to commit and to, knuckle down and achieve something tangible like this. So well done. So, folks, so that's it from me. Um, so tomorrow we're going to be back same time, and we're going to have some more stories for you then. So once again, my name is Olatunde. See you guys tomorrow. Good night and God bless.